I am Dr. Micah Hamilton, CEO and co-founder of Appear on Zoe Corporation, and we're doing our Epigenetic Performance Series shorts. Today, I'm so excited to have Kim West, the sleep lady, with me. Now, Kim is a licensed clinical social worker, and she's been a child and family therapist for more than 27 years. She's the best-selling author of the Sleep Ladies Good Night, Sleep Tight, Gentle, proven solutions to help your child sleep well and wake up happy. Now, what's so important about this is that Kim introduced a new paradigm to create really a secure emotional attachment. She doesn't believe in don't leave your child alone. You know, so many of us, we're left alone and also parented that way. And so Kim has sold over 135,000 books. It's in so many countries. And she's got an online course. She has a coaching certification. And I think somebody referred to your work as the Sleep Bible, because this process is so very, very successful. So Kim, during this short, I'd love to turn this over to you and have you share your wisdom with us. And for all of you listening, we're going to do a deeper dive into one of the topics that Kim will discuss. And so at the end, I'll tell you more about that. Kim, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I think right now well, first of all, we all know that sleep is so essential to our health, especially right now when we're trying to keep our strong immune system. And I realize that there are now thousands of families kind of locked down into their homes, even if it's just they've chosen to do that or their state or country has. And they may be finding like, wow, I don't have a schedule for my children. My children aren't sleeping well, or maybe they were sleeping well and now they're not from all the kind of stress and anxiety that's happening in our world right now. So I just wanted to give sort of two important messages. One is if your child is not sleeping well, and maybe they weren't before all of this, but you just didn't have the sort of time and energy to focus on it, this is the perfect time. Because usually I ask a family to dedicate 3 weeks, don't travel, really focus on sleep as your priority. And now here we are given it. So this is a great time to sleep coach your child, which is why I'm offering, of course, you can buy my book online, but you can also enroll in my course, which is only $9.99, which I'm doing this because of the COVID-19. I want families to get rest, and also sleep is a sanity saver. So we can talk more about, you know, what that would mean to actually sleep coach your child. It's basically teaching your child the skill of putting themselves to sleep independently without being rocked, held, fed, laid down with, all the different things that we do as parents in desperation to get them to sleep and back to sleep. And by the way, if you think that you're alone in this problem, know that this is a problem for 30% of children under the age of 6.
Wow.
Okay? So you're not alone. And there are solutions, and it's never too late. So that's a super important message. Now, if your children were sleeping well, and because of all the stress that's going around right now, and they've started to have a harder time going to sleep, usually you'll see that at bedtime, then this is the time to really hunker down on your rituals. I think the most important one, which I could say rituals / routine, meaning that you stick with good naps, stick with an early enough bedtime, and then have a routine, which I think one of the best ones, honestly, is reading to your child. There's really great research about that adults, when asked what was the most meaningful memory they had of their childhood, they said to be read to or told a story to. And so this is the great time for that. So get out, in particular, picture books. Even if your child knows how to read to themselves, like read together, read out loud. It's really just a very wonderful time to, bring back that, trust and continuity in life. And so that's super important. So early enough bedtime, getting enough sleep, go back to those routines and those schedules, and really spend some time connecting with your children. It's really will help all of you.
So then what would you say, because we are now in this, more of a confined situation altogether, for the lucky children and parents who are all sleeping well,
Yeah.
what tips would you give for them to continue to maintain those rhythms and actually now even try to enhance sleep? So going beyond just let's get good sleep to what does great sleep look like? What are the tips for that?
Yeah. Um, for children, it's really going to be about continuity of the timing of sleep. Honestly, it's the same for us too, right? You're supposed to go to bed around the same time, wake up around the same time, and not vary it by more than an hour. So if you're really stuck in your home and not getting out, let's say, it might be easy to fall into staying up super late, hoping everybody sleeps in. This is actually a time where I would encourage you to avoid doing that, to really try to go to bed around the same time, wake up around the same time, even if it means you're not going to school or going to work. But if you can, I would get outside, have some light exposure. This really helps our internal clock. And so that at night it's dim, quieting. I would try to reduce screen time at least 2 hours before bedtime, particularly for children, and having that soothing routine that we talked about before. A lot of parents will think, particularly if their child is under 6 or 7 years of age, oh, if we skip naps or keep them up late, they'll sleep longer and better. It's actually not true for children under the age of 6 or 7.
Okay.
So if that's the case, if you have really young kids, make sure you still keep with your great napping schedule, as I call it, keep a full daytime sleep tank and an early enough bedtime.
Oh, I love that. And one final question, and I really want to get into this in the deep dive that I think is really critical. Is these the children who are maybe we call them extrasensory, or maybe we call them empathic, or maybe we call them sensitive.
Yeah.
For those children in particular,
Yeah.
what would you say would be the number one thing that you've seen to calm the sensitivity? Of course, we don't want to get them overly activated, but what's the one thing? And we'll dive deeper into this on the longer segment. But what do you think?
I call those alert children. Not that it's
Oh, I love that.
what I've called them over
Yeah.
the years, and one of my two daughters is like that, and they're probably 80% of my practice. I always think of these children as their filter to the world is open wider. And
Yes.
so in a sense, we as the adult need to be their filters, right? And so they tend to not show, for instance, sleepy cues because they're so engaged. So that's why you really need with these kids a schedule, and that I think bringing them into their room before sleep time, shutting down, putting down the shades, dimming the light, really creating a calming environment so that then they can start to calm. I also think lots of touch. Some of these alert kids don't like a lot of touch, so feel out your child. But a lot of sometimes deep pressure, hugging, and deep massage can be really wonderful for these children. And again, rituals, calming rituals like books and song and quiet connection and play.
Oh, thank you so much. This is, I love that we have an opportunity now to really connect with our children on a much deeper level, no matter what their age is. And in those formative years, when the brain is still predominantly in theta under 6, they're being programmed by everything. And so if we are on purpose with how we're working with these conscious strategies to calm the nervous system, to keep it aligned, to keep sleep at its optimal, we're really doing some good things for their future, as well as the future of our planet. So Thank you, Kim. You know, it's very clear that you sleep well. So I love when I get to interview people who live what they teach.
Mhm.
And so let's do a much deeper dive. I'm very excited to get into that.
Right.
So stay tuned for the long version of this, where we're going to really go into some amazing things that are simple strategies for you to use with your children. And with yourself. I interviewed Dr. Kirk Parsley on adult sleep. And so this way we're ending up covering the full spectrum. And perhaps you'll also go into adolescence with me too. And we can talk about that. All right, Kim, take care. See you soon. Bye,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye.